Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Times now, public munch, and today we have Union Minister Rajeev Chandrasekhar, who's also the candidate from Thiruvananthapuram. Rajeev Chandrasekhar, thank you very much for joining me on public munch. A big round of applause.
Thank you.
Let me begin by asking you, Rajeev Chandrasekhar, you're not a quintessential politician. You're somebody who's worked in the Silicon Valley. You were making chips. Now you're inviting other companies to come and set up semiconductor plants in India. You have been a big, symbol of privatization of the telecom sector. Today, you are part of the IT and telecom space, making policies for them. How has been the road for Rajeev Chandrasekhar from a private citizen, from an entrepreneur to a politician?
So thank you, Navika, for having me, and thank you all for being here. So Navika, look, in a lot of ways, today I am sitting in Thiruvananthapuram. It is a land where, when I came back from the US, one of the first entrepreneurial enterprises that I built started in Thiruvananthapuram. The first cellular network that was built in Kerala was built here. I was instrumental in building it.
BPL
Mobile. And my journey from a chip designer to an entrepreneur to public life has been, as I've said earlier also, has been a series of chances of fate. And but I have grabbed every opportunity that I have got, and I've given it my 200%. And therefore, today, after 18 years of being in public life, when in January of 2024, my Prime Minister asked me, where would I like to contest? Because I had said I want to contest in Lok Sabha, and I chose Thiruvananthapuram, the capital city of my land, Kerala. It is in a sense full circle. I am a Malayali. I've gone through this whole life of mine of doing many things that I'm very proud of, and I hope the country is proud of. And here I am at the end of all that to begin a new chapter of serving the people of Thiruvananthapuram and the city of Thiruvananthapuram, the district of Thiruvananthapuram. So it is certainly being a good ride for me, and I hope to take it to the next level by winning this Lok Sabha election.
So Rajeev Chandrasekhar, what's the experience like to have opponents from the Congress party against you and the CPM fighting against you? Though in New Delhi, they are in an alliance of their own, the India alliance, but in Kerala, they are fighting each other and you simultaneously. How does this equation really work in politics?
So my association with this Jugalbandi, this duo of the Congress and the CPM, if you remember, starts with the 2G scam. And if you remember that time, the Congress UPA government was a government that existed because of the support of the left. So I certainly know how the two of them operate and what comes out of their cooperation. The 2G scam came out of their cooperation. The Colgate scam came out of their cooperation. So this is an interesting marriage that they have. The country has seen the UPA one, which was a marriage or a political partnership between the Congress and the left before, and they're seeing it again. In Kerala in particular, I think it's very, very strange that these two parties that are cooperating everywhere else in the country, everywhere, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Puducherry, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and as you go north, all those states, the CPM and the Congress are partners. It is only here that they pretend to be opponents. And I have a theory, which I don't have evidence to prove it, and so therefore I can only propose it as a theory, that they have agreed between themselves that the state will be left to the CPM and the Lok Sabha will be left to the Congress, which is exactly how it is played out between 2019 and now. So the state elections are won by the CPM, but the Lok Sabha elections are to a large extent won by, between the two of them, by the Congress. I don't have proof for this, but I can only give you empirical evidence that this is how it is being it's being played out.
Let me also ask you, when the Prime Minister, and he's been saying this 5 days in running, he said that the Congress's manifesto is a leaf out of the Muslim League's manifesto. Do you think that's true, or is it a stretch?
I think what he intends to say is that the Congress certainly today has no idea to offer to the country or anybody, including in Thiruvananthapuram, about development. They have no idea. If you look at any Congress leader today, including the gentleman in Thiruvananthapuram, they will only talk about beef, they will only make up stories about CAA, and they will characterize the Manipur violence in a totally distorted manner. They will not offer one good idea for the future of the youth of Thiruvananthapuram or the youth of India. They will not offer one idea about making India a developed nation. And this is the real crux of this election. There is one leader who's looking, after 10 years of performance, who's looking to take the country forward and making it a developed nation. First a third largest economy in the world, then a developed nation. And there is another guy who, between his breaks of traveling abroad and tearing India down and saying India's judiciary is bad, India's EVMs are bad, India's institutions are bad, and when he has a break from that, says that I want to redistribute wealth. I just want to point out, Karl Marx died long time back. Russia and China, who used to be the believers in Karl Marx and Marxism and communism, long ago buried that ideology. And I think that buried ideology is now finding its way back into the Congress party. So the Prime Minister has shown through the last 10 years that that poison, that propaganda that had been spread is false. And I am certainly now today engaging in a far more open manner with members of every community and saying we are here to serve everybody. We are here, and our Prime Minister says he is the Pradhan Sevak, and we are all his deputies, his assistants, and our mission is to serve the people of Thiruvananthapuram and regardless of caste, color, creed, religion, gender.
Well, the audience clearly seems to support that idea. So let's take a round of audience questions here. Anybody in the audience, because Public Munch is not only about me asking the questions, but also you, the audience, you, the viewers of Times Now, to ask your questions. And I see a hand going up here right in the front row. Can we please pass on the mic here and give the opportunity to this gentleman here to ask the question?
Good afternoon, Rajeev and Navika. Nice to see both of you in close proximity. I think Rajeev's candidature has evinced a lot of enthusiasm. I hope it sustains on, and we are finally seeing a bit of light at the end of the tunnel in Trivandrum. You know, I myself, I'm Dr. Jayashekhar. I'm a plastic and cosmetic surgeon. I was trained in the UK. I came back I followed his footsteps. I came back here. I started my own cosmetic surgery center. My question is, Rajeev, we have to develop a lot of other things because Trivandrum Airport is still in its infancy. Because when I started my career in Trivandrum, I used to get a lot of health tourism patients from the nearby countries like Maldives, Sri Lanka, and even from Europe. Now, the number of flights coming to Trivandrum are very, very less. Forget about flights from abroad, even from domestic flights, even from your Bangalore. Look at the number of flights that come to Trivandrum and look at the number of flights that go to Kochi. And Kochi has got a clear, established supremacy over us on that. That's one thing. And second thing is infrastructure. I know that you're only getting involved. Come one rain and the whole of Trivandrum is flooded.
Fair questions. Infrastructure as well as number of flights coming in.
No, I think this is a very legit question because an airport can expand and people who operate an airport will invest in its expansion if there is a perception that traffic will grow. And traffic will grow if the underlying economy is poised for growth. The problem, if you dispassionately look at Thiruvananthapuram, in the last 15 years, 10 years, whatever metric you want to use, Thiruvananthapuram has received little or no private investment. And so if there is no private investment that is creating jobs and gross value added and local economy is growing, It is no longer a hub for tourism. It is no longer a hub for tech. So then why would an airport operator or indeed an airline invest in more aircraft and more airport capacity? So we have to bell the cat where the cat needs to be belled.
Okay, hands going up there.
Sir, my name is Ashwin K.S. I'm a student of Christnagar College in Trivandrum. So, sir, first of all, I would like to thank everyone for this opportunity because I've been hearing a lot about the elections and as a young voter right now, for the youth, I would like to ask the question. I've been hearing a lot about the coastal regions. I've been hearing a lot about the other sectors as well. And one of the things that you mentioned, that why is BJP not opening its account in Kerala is because they are actually pushing us back into the communal background. Another sector or one other reason would be that people are also pushing this narrative or propaganda that we are the people who are more literate and our education system is more prosperous when compared to other states, and that's why BJP is not able to open an account here. But there's another fact that almost 30 to 40% of the seats, the college seats in Kerala are vacant. Why is this dilemma and how is BJP or the central government hoping to break this when you come into power on June 4?
That's a great question.
Absolutely brilliant.
A
brilliant,
pressing issue for the youngsters.
Brilliant question. And I think one of the biggest myths is that the Kerala education system, the Kerala model, whatever you want to call it, is world class or it's excellent. It is not. And the reason is not because of the students. The reason is today's workforce, today's global economy, today's Indian economy, where digital economy is growing at 2.5 times faster than the real economy. The requirements of skills and talented people are much more than just degrees. Therefore, the expectations from colleges are that you have modern labs, you have modern infrastructure, you have partnerships with the industry in the local region. All that is important to make a student who's graduating from a degree college being industry ready. If you're not industry ready, then I have met so many parents in Thiruvananthapuram who have to pay 20 lakhs to the company to hire the son or daughter. Because that company will then spend 1.5 years of time on training that after a degree. So this is the biggest bogus story going around, full stop. You cannot say that 37% of degree colleges seats are vacant and still say that education system in Kerala is the best in the country. It is not. And I'm not saying that because the youth is incapable. Because I'll tell you a true story. When I have twice a year, I have a startup conference where I have coffee and tea with startups around the country. The last October, I had a coffee, high tea with startups. 168 startups came in Bangalore, out of which 40 startups were from Kerala, Malayalis. But they were not based in Kerala. They were based in Bengaluru, Hyderabad, all over the place. So the talent is here, but our education system is 10, 15, 20 years behind. That is why one of the first things I did after coming here, I don't know if you read it in the papers, I sanctioned 10 AI labs to 10 colleges. The first thing I did here was not to go cut a ribbon for an NHI road and say it's my achievement. I went and said 10 schools will get 10 Atal Tinkering Labs.
I also want to know what you think about Rahul Gandhi. Let me play out what you have once said about Rahul Gandhi being in some la-la land, and then let me come back to you and ask you, what is this la-la land that you're talking about? Listen in to Rajeev Chandrasekhar.
Rahul Gandhi lives in this la-la world, in my opinion, where he thinks that everything that he says is predicated by nobody understanding the truth and that he can get away with these atrocious lies. People of India are wise enough. They understand the truth. They understand what Rahul Gandhi's politics is about.
So what is this la-la land? What is Rahul Gandhi's politics?
Look, I'm a reasonably intelligent person. I think I understand what people say, but I don't get what he says. And it's not for want of trying. For the first 100 times when he said, I research psychology, I research physics, chemistry, math, Jupiter escape velocity, potatoes turning into gold. I looked at metaphysics, chemistry. And then I always came back thinking, either this man is just plain genius, where nobody else has discovered this genius, or he is this utter, person who's living in some fictitious, imaginary metaverse of his own. And I've now come to the conclusion that a lot of what he says is really dangerous, really divisive, and really foolish, because somebody is feeding him this stuff, and he has now entered into this realm where he believes that he is being very intelligent and very, there is a whole thing called Dunning-Kruger effect. I don't know if you know what Dunning-Kruger effect is. Dunning-Kruger effect is when a man who's not terribly bright is told that he's very bright and starts believing he's very bright. That is the Dunning-Kruger effect.
That's being rather unfair to Rahul Gandhi.
It was first.
How can you judge that he's not very bright?
That concept was shared with me by Arun Jaitley ji, and he explained this. We were sitting around one day scratching our head and saying, what is he saying? Does anybody understand what is he saying? Why is he saying it? And then Arun Jaitley ji, remarkably, he tweeted this also. He said Dunning-Kruger effect is when some people overestimate their abilities and start really believing the Kool-Aid that they're dishing out, that they are really very, very, very genius and bright and above everybody's head, above everybody else. In his particular case, and by the way, in many other cases in the Congress, there is this belief that they are the intellectuals that the country has been blessed with. And all of us who go to work hard, strive hard, and do real, down to earth work, we are not that clever or that intellectual. We are just people who work. These are the people with vision. They want Thiruvananthapuram to become Barcelona. They want, they have this far-reaching vision, which we are not capable of, because we want Thiruvananthapuram to become Thiruvananthapuram. We want it to be a nice Thiruvananthapuram, but we don't have all that vision. And so, therefore, there is that gap in our intellect. I'm willing to concede to Rahul Gandhi and all of his friends.
That's a good point you make, even if it's reverse snobbery, so to speak.
No, I'm just saying it as I see it. I mean, it's not reverse snobbery.
Okay, so let me just get into a rapid fire round with you. What do you think your margin over Shashi Tharoor will be in this election?
I think the people of Thiruvananthapuram will vote decisively this time for change. And I certainly don't want to speculate on whether it will be 5 lakhs or 2 lakhs or 1 lakh. But I think this is going to be certainly an election where people of Thiruvananthapuram want change, and they will get the change that they want.
In Wayanad, Rahul Gandhi versus Annie Raja versus K. Surendran, who would you bet on? And it's not necessary that you just choose your party man. What's the realistic fight there?
I think the best candidate there is K. Surendran, and I'll bet on him. No, it's a fact.
5 states in the south, 130 seats. Last time the BJP had 29. This time around, the Prime Minister is really betting on the south, especially in the face of the north and south divide that Mr. Suresh Kumar has spoken about. What do you put your number at?
I think it will be closer to 60.
60,
north of
double.
50. Yes.
Double.
Yes.
100% growth in the south.
I strongly believe so.
Well, are we ready to hold him to that? Will we meet here again after the 4th of June to ask you?
Yeah, and I'm saying south. I'm saying Telangana, Andhra, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Puducherry, and Karnataka. 100%.
60 seats.
60.
Well, so let me end this by asking you, you've admitted that Shashi Tharoor's English is probably better than yours because he knows the dictionary by heart. Whose Malayalam is better?
I'm willing to concede on all of that. I'm willing to concede. Somebody asked me, I think on the 7th of March when I reached here, he said, how will you compete with a Vishwa Pauravan? Vishwa Pauravan means global leader or global person, global man, which is how he fancies himself. And I said, I have no intention of doing that. I'm a very normal, son of a normal Malayali family who happens to be an Air Force officer, and I'm perfectly happy with that. I certainly don't want to get into a competition to discuss debating skills, St. Stephen's debating versus Kendriya Vidyalaya debating. I don't want to get into all that. I am willing to give him all of that. But what I will take is that I will do better by the people of Thiruvananthapuram in the next 5 years than he has ever done in the last 15 years. That I will take.
Well, Rajeev Chandrasekhar, thank you very much for joining us. Public being a sport, taking questions from the audience. A big round of applause. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to host you. Thank you very much.